Well, that's the start of her anyway. So we're going to put her together with some sugar paste. So we're not going to do this with royal icing. We're going to do it with sugar paste. So that's the angel cookie cutter that we've come up with. She's made out of gingerbread. You can see it marks on there and there where the wings are. So that bit there on the cutter will mark the gingerbread as we go. Yes, Kelly?
When you make the gingerbread, when you cut out using this cutter and you're making the gingerbread, and the design, like the indents of the wings doesn't come out, just press them down a little bit, because they're a little bit of a bendy plastic. You can push them down to mark them, because obviously you don't want really thick gingerbread, unless you like thick gingerbread. But yeah, I definitely recommend just push the wings down if it doesn't come out, and it will come down.
There you go. Top tip from our baker here. So what we've got here is we've got one of the gingerbread that we've cut out and the mould here, and I'm going to show you now how to make an angel. So you're going to need some sugar paste. I've got white. I have got this colour here I've made from sort of a peachy colour. You have to excuse my hands, they've gone brown because I've mixed up some brown as well. So you're going to need all three of those colours to do this. You're going to need some royal icing, which you're going to use to stick down your sugar paste, and that's now what I'm looking for. Can you let me got a little tiny bowl in that cupboard, just a little one. Tart, perfect. So we've got some royal icing with a little bit of water in it, only a little bit, just to make it sticky, just so we can stick our sugar paste down. You're going to like these. It's a very sweet thing to do. It's a tiny bit more complicated than usual cookies, but it's very effective. Right, let's show you how to do this cookie. Let's move that out of the way. So we're going to start off with her dress. So we're going to take some white sugar paste. We'll just give it a bit of a knead. You don't need a huge amount. We don't want great big thick layers. And then we'll just take a little bit of icing sugar, and we're just going to roll it out like so. So it's not massive. Like that. It's on there. We're going to take hold of our cookie cutter and we're going to pop that on like there. Now we're going to press that down, and what will happen is these two lines here that are on the inner bit there are not going to pick up because they're too far down. So if you just press them in like so, you will then get them marked in like that. Yeah. We're going to just move it to make sure it cuts cleanly and then pull it away. So we've got the two markings in there now. If we turn that around, because we're going to need to cut that out. So we're going to use a cutting wheel to do that. So I'm just going to take my cutting wheel and I'm going to just come down there like so and release the dress from her there. So we'll take that down like so. Okay, and then for the neck, I'm just going to just do that for the moment. Just take that part out so we end up with her dress like that, and then we will adjust it. Okay, so then what we'll do is bring this in over here, take hold of a paintbrush. Have we got a paintbrush anywhere? Is there one in that pot? Large one.
I got that.
That's fine. Is there anything? Yeah, that's fine. So we'll take hold of some royal icing and then we'll just pop this in place. So don't make this too wet, otherwise your cookie ends up getting really soggy. Just a little bit to stick it down and stab it on like so. So we're going to take hold of her dress and pop it on like so. We're going to adjust it because don't forget, when you make your cookies they will spread, so you're going to need to put a little bit of adjustment in there. So I'll just move that out a little bit like so. I got her dress on like that. Now I'm going to take another tool and I'm going to just put some marks on it. So I'm going to start from here. I'm going to go up just from this pattern here at the bottom. I'm just going to kind of create some creases in her dress like so. Make sure it's all stuck down. I want that to come down there so she's got a bit of a neck, otherwise, I mean, she's not got a huge amount of neck, but we do want her to have a little bit of neck in there. Right, so let's do her face next. So we're going to do her face and neck. Let's move her to one side. And we'll just take hold of some of this paste and we're going to roll it out.
But you could also make these just into fairies.
You could make them into fairies, Kelly. They don't just have to be angels. Perhaps we'll relist it as an angel slash fairy. That's a good point. So we're going to pop that on there and press it down like so, and then release it. So you're only going to get that shape, and then you're going to need to take your cutter and you're going to need to come round like so. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work here to get this right. Her face is also going to be sort of oval and not round, so there you go, like that. It's a wedding dress with wings.
I'd wear
fairy godmother.
So I would wear a wedding dress with wings.
It's a fairy godmother one, Kelly, that's what it is. So we'll put a little bit more icing up here. Now before we get too involved with this bit here, I found it easier yesterday to actually put her neck in rather than leave that out. So if I put that back on like so, I'm just going to sort of take a little bit kind of like that. Don't need very much. Like that. And we'll go back up to the dress and fit that piece before we put her face in, because what we can do is we can actually trim it on the cookie. So we can take that right back like so, and then we can pop that in and we can adjust it according to whatever we need to do to make it look right. There we go. Okay. This will all be covered by hair and bits and pieces in a minute, so it looks a bit strange, but it will all improve. It's work in progress. Okay, there we go. Right, now we're going to do her arms. So let's do her arms next. So we've got a little bit of this sort of flesh colour that we've got here, and I'm going to just roll that. I'm going to get two pieces. I'm going to just roll that into a thin piece like that, and my hands are covered in brown from the icing. I do apologise. So I'm just going to flatten that down like so. Have a look at it on her to see how big that's going to be. I'm just going to take a little sharp knife and I'm just going to cut out a sort of an area there for her thumb. I'm just going to make like a little pad, so nothing too complicated, and we're just going to make sure she's got a wrist. So we'll just run that round there so she's got a wrist like so.
You could also give her a smaller head and give her a halo.
Well, her hair's going to go on there.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. So we're going to have a look at where her hands are going to sit. So they're going to sit roughly about something like that. We don't want these to be too long. I've got a bit of a thing about arms being too long. So we're just going to chop it off at the shoulder there a little bit. And then we're going to work out where it's going to sit. So if you put it in like that, that looks fine. But what we really want is an elbow join to make it look a bit more natural. So we're going to use this tool there to put an elbow join in there. I'm just going to put a bit more wrist in so that she's got a bit extra in there and back in like so. Okay, so we can put that down with royal icing. So we'll just take a little bit of royal icing again and pop that in like that. Don't worry about this area here because that's all going to change again in a minute. And then we'll do another one. So we're going to have us with the hands sort of in the middle. Looking for that tiny decoration small, Kelly. Do you know where it's gone?
No.
Can you investigate and see if you can see it?
I don't know where it is.
Well, if not. Okay, don't worry.
It's there, I can see it.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. I knew it was around somewhere. Okay, so this time we'll cut the thumb on the other side. So we'll just take the knife there. Have a look at the size of the hand to make sure they match, because what you don't want to do is end up with hands that don't match. We'll just roll that like so, and then take that up a bit. Let's have a little look where we are. So that's going to be about right. Chop that off there. So I want her hands to join in the middle. How are they doing? One's a little bit thicker than the other. Let's just roll this one back a bit further. So that one in there. We don't want her to have great big thick arms. And then we'll put her elbow crease in there. Like that. There we go. That looks all right. And we'll take hold of some icing, just pop that down there. Put that in. Doesn't matter too much about these bits here because we're about to give her some sleeves. Okay, so we're going to give her some sleeves now. I'm just going to make sure she's got the elbows that we need. Like that. Okay, so what I've done with the dress sleeves is I've taken hold of some not royal icing, some more sugar paste, and I've got hold of just a piping tube. That works quite well. Just nice little round cutter. I'm going to roll this out. Make sure there's some icing sugar underneath so it doesn't stick. We're going to press that down and we'll take that out. So we've got 2 round circles there, and then what you can do is take hold of your knife and just cut the end off there and there. Take hold of your royal icing and just stick a little bit over the tops of her shoulders, and then we'll pop that in, one in there, and then we'll take the other one and put that one in there, like so. We're going to use our tool just to kind of push things into the creases, because my hands are going to get in the way if I don't. Let's turn that round a bit, tuck that under, like so. We'll give her a little bow on the front of her dress as well. So we're going to use this mould here. This is Tiny Decorations, and we'll just take hold of, I don't know if I'll be able to do it with the sugar paste. Let's see if I can do it. And we'll just do a small bow. It doesn't have to be the world's biggest bow. Let's do this one here. Press that down like so, and then there we go. Very tiny little bow there. Whoops, and I've dropped it on you, madam. So we'll just take a little bit of icing there and pop that on like so. So she's got her bow there. Now we're going to take our piping bag and we're just going to do a little bit of piping just round the base. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what, no we won't. We'll finish the sugar paste first, because then we won't knock it. So let's do her hair. Let's do that bit next. So we're going to take some brown sugar paste here, and we're just going to roll it into a couple of sort of thickish strips, like so. And then we're going to squash them down, and we're going to sort of point them at the end, so that when we go to put them on, her hair is going to be sort of something like that. It's a little bit thick at the moment, so we'll just press it down a bit more. Okay, I'll just roll that again actually, let's get that. So press that down, a little bit thick at the end. Take our paintbrush, we'll put some glue on her head to hold her hair in place. Now we can get glamorous with our hairstyles. So we can start there. Just tuck it round the side, and then we'll do the same with the other side. So point at the end. Again, so we'll just cut that bit back because it's a shorter bit on that side, if you see there. In fact, we can cut this there, and that gives us a fringe line as well. So we can put that in like so. So I'm just going to twist this at the end. And just use your fingers just to kind of spread the sugar paste back, because we're going to be able to adjust this in a minute. Let's turn it round. Like so. Just turn you back round. And then what we can do, I'm going to just move our hair back a little bit. We can add in some little fringe bits if we wanted to. So if we wanted to bring our fringe down a bit, for example, we could just put a little section that goes in there, like so. Then we can use this tool to put some marks in. so that it all kind of blends together. So we can use this tool here to put in some hairline. Like that. And the same round here. So just follow it round. Like that. Right, now we can pipe, because then we won't end up making a mistake. So let's move all this out of the way. So piping wise, what we'll do is we'll do some lines at the bottom to start with. So we'll take our piping nozzle number 2 and we're going to go up like so and just create lines at the bottom of her dress. And then we'll create some sort of, I don't know what these are called, like little crests or something. So we're going up to the right and to the left. So start in the middle, left and right. And then we'll put some dots. So you can do what you like now at this point. So if you wanted to sort of bling up the dress, or if you want to sort of put some glitters and things in place, you don't have to pipe on the dress if you don't want to. I think the dress piping actually makes it look really nice. And then we're going to give her a necklace. So we're going to come up here. So this will take up a bit more space round her neck. She's off to a party, I think. Okay, turn it round. Now we're going to deal with her wings. We're going to use a paintbrush to do this, and we're going to just make sure it's relatively clean, which it is. And we're going to start up here and we're going to come down. And then along here. And then what you can do, if you want to, you can take hold of a paintbrush and you can pull this down like a technique called brush embroidery. But we need a bit more icing. Let's put a bit more on. So we've got enough to pull it.
A charger. My iPad's about to run out of battery.
No. Oh, hold on. Try that one. Oh, it's plugged into there. Just hold on a second, can I? Did you give me some water earlier? Oh no. I'm going to just put a tiny bit of water on this brush because it'll make it a bit easier. Right. There we go. That's better. So you can bring that up like so. That's better. So tiny little bit of water on your brush. This is piping nozzle number 2 that I'm using for this part. And then just do a bit there because her hair's in the way there. Okay, then we'll turn it round and we'll do the same on this side. So if you're doing this piping, you've got to be pretty quick because it dries really quickly. We'll do 2 lines to give it a bit more icing. To pull back. And then bring that through. Like so. Just flatten that down. Oh, lifted that bit. That's okay, we can merge that in there. Just put that back in again. Okay, let's turn her around. Right, let's give her some features. So we're going to use a black edible pen for this. So all we're going to do is take hold of the pen and we're just going to put it in the middle like so and just wiggle it around. So we're going to actually go into the sugar paste and move it around, and that will give you exact dots. If you try and do this a different way, by doing it on the surface, you're going to find it much more difficult. We'll give her a couple of eyelashes as well, just either side, which again you can do with the pen, just very lightly. And then a couple of little eyebrows, like so, and then very small little smile, like so. Then we can just put a little bit of pink dust on her cheeks. So if you wanted to, I've got fairy dust in my hand, that will do. A little bit of fairy dust just on her cheeks if you want to, a little bit of extra dust, like so. And then if you want to, you can then take hold of some of the finishing sparkle and just pop that over the top of her, like so. There you go. And that is the angel. I'll pop her there, and then I'll put the one I did yesterday on there as well, and then you've got two to compare it with. So that's how that you use the angel cookie cutter. So nice and straightforward, nothing too complicated. Just a little bit of moving things around here and there, but I think you agree she's very pretty, nice and easy to do, and something you can do for Christmas in advance.